Okay, in this webcast I'm going to look at the useful feature of code snippets. So in XCode, on the sidebar here, at the bottom half we have 4 tabs, one of which is code snippets, and this, if I'll expand it up, is already occupied by a number of code snippets that come with XCode, and these effectively are do something useful and save you having to remember a lot of Objective-C. So what I'll do is I'll make a new empty file, and just to show, for example, how a code snippet works, you just drag and drop the snippet into your code, and these bits here you then replace with the custom code. So even though you may not know what these do, assuming that you have learned what some of them do, you can then use these as a quick way of adding Objective-C and other code. It's not just Objective-C but other code as well as snippets in. So what I've done is in the snippets at the moment I have 6 that I've uploaded to this website here. So these are just small sections of code which are used in the webcast tutorials and can be added. So what I'll do is I'll select this first one here, and I'll just copy and paste it into my empty file. So to add this as a snippet, you select it and then you simply drag and drop it in, and then you have to give it a title. So the title of this is or something like that, and then a summary. You can put in a completion shortcut, and then here's the snippet itself in there. So I'm happy with that. Just click, the language, I can set the language, it's Objective-C, and then it's highlighting it, color coding it correctly. So, and you can give it some scope. I'll just leave that so it can go anywhere, and click done. So that's added that snippet in. So just to show that in action, it is just drag the snippet, brings this code in here, so that was the first one. So I'm just going to systematically add all 6. So the second one is perform segue, so just a one-liner. And just just so you understand, this little bit of syntax here is an open angle bracket, hash, and then a keyword, and then another hash and close angle bracket. That comes out as a little bubble like so, which is ready to be replaced with your own text, with your own segue ID in this case. And so that includes, that works for these snippets quite well. You just add that there. And so this one is perform segue. That will do it. It's Objective-C, so we'll just set that as Objective-C and click done. So you can see how that works in practice. Whoops. Try not to select them all. And so, and that would be the line of code. So that's the second one done. I'm just going to go through the next one. The next one is call JavaScript from Objective-C. So I'll just copy that, paste it in here, and then from there I'll just drag and drop it in, and then title evaluate JavaScript. Set the language and click done. So that's the third one. So I'm just going to move on to the next one, which is load HTML. So we already have this one in the template. So all I'm going to do is add that now as a code snippet as well, just in case the scenario arises where I need to load a HTML where I've not used the template. So select all the text and just drag that in. Something like that. And again, I'll set the language, click done. This next one is quite useful. So it's actually there's it's worth searching in the documentation to understand what it does, but it's for unwind segue, means sort of like pressing the back button on the navigation bar, so it would go back to that view controller. So the view controller that hosts this action, you can return, there's an action called return to previous on that, so it turns out that's quite useful, even though it doesn't look, it looks odd because it doesn't actually have any content in there. It just works like that. And the last one is to load a background view, a view behind the table view. So it's so it's to do with designing your table views. And I'll just select that, copy. Well, there's actually two parts to that, because it's the property gets generated from the storyboard when you control or right click the connection over into the header file. So I'll actually just take this one line and add that as a code snippet, which in the implementation view.load method you would run this line of code and it would set the background view of the table view. Okay, so we have these code snippets here. And these are hopefully the new ones down at the bottom, and we'll be using these in some of the other screencasts and tutorials and things, so my recommendation is that you just follow suit and do that process as well, in order to have these little code snippets at your fingertips.